Welcome back! In part 1, we laid the groundwork for IP device tracking, or IPDT. In this second of a 2-part episode of Cisco Tech Talk, I'll show you how to configure IPDT using both the graphical user interface, GUI, and the command line interface, CLI. Next. I'll start by manually enabling IPDT using the GUI. Switch to Advanced mode on the upper right-hand corner of the GUI. Then navigate to General IP Configuration, IPDT, and then IP Device Tracking Settings. Here you'll see 3 key settings that control how IPDT operates. The default probe count defines how many ARP probes are sent to a device before its entry is removed from the IPDT database. You can configure this setting within a range of 1 to 255 probes, with the default being 3. The default probe interval setting specifies the amount of time between ARP probes. This interval can range from 30 seconds to 1,814,400 seconds, equivalent to 21 days. The default is 30, which works well for most scenarios. The third key setting is the probe delay interval. This determines the delay before sending an ARP probe to an inactive device. Its range is 0 to 120 seconds, with the default being 0. For simplicity, I'll leave all of these settings at their default values. Next, select the port where you want to enable device tracking and click on Edit to modify its settings. Set IP device tracking administrative status to enable. Then configure the maximum host settings. In this example, I'll set it to 1 because I'm connecting a single device to this port. Keep in mind that when the administrative status is set to auto, you cannot adjust the maximum host setting. Once you've made these changes, click Apply to save them. After the configuration is applied, the port status will update. This display shows administrative status enabled, maximum hosts 1, and application max hosts. If you had enabled IPDT using 802.1x, the application field would reflect that instead. To test this setup, I'll connect an IP phone to port 1. Once the phone powers on and the port comes on, I'll navigate to IP device tracking mapping in the GUI. It might take a few seconds for the phone to appear, especially if it's a power over Ethernet device that takes time to boot. When it's time, you'll see the phone's IP address, MAC address, port number, and status, along with details on how it was learned. Everything looks great. Be sure to save your new configurations by clicking the red blinking Save icon. Now, if you prefer working with CLI, enabling IPDT is just as simple. I'll show you how. Start by running the command Show IP Device Tracking All. This displays the current IPDT status for the entire switch. Since I already configured port 1 in the GUI, you'll see the phone's information here. The output includes details like the IP address and MAC addresses, the port it's connected to, and its status. Now I'll configure another port, this time using CLI. Enter configuration mode. Run the interface command, followed by the port number you want to configure. I'll use port 5. Use the command IP device tracking maximum, followed by the number of devices you want to track. I'll set it to 5. That's it! IPDT is now enabled on port 5. To verify, I'll run the Show IP Device Tracking command again, but this time specifically for port 5. I don't have anything connected to this port, so the output is blank, but it does confirm that IPDT is enabled for the interface. If you run the Show IP Device Tracking All command again, you will see a summary of all ports where IPDT is active. In my case, it shows the phone connected to port 1 and mentions that IPDT is enabled on 2 interfaces, GI1 and GI5. There you have it! IPDT is now active on your configured ports. If you would like more details on how IPDT can help you stay on top of network management and monitoring, click the link in the description. Thanks for watching! I'll see you next time.